All right, Ian, we got voice messages, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
You go to anchor.fm/the podcast, and there you'll find a link. You could use your app. You can use your computer. Keep your message, somewhat short. It'd be great. And you could you can let us know how much you love or hate us, or if I'm more attractive or less attractive than another podcast host. You can do whatever you want there.
Hey, Pat and Ian, how's it going?
Oof.
So I got a question for each of you. So Ian, can you think you can convince Pat to do a PS1 book instead of a GameCube book? I think it would be a better idea because he already played like almost half the games on N64, and they're shorter than GameCube games, so it's something to think about, Do you think you can convince him? Yeah.
No, I don't think I do not think I could convince him.
I don't know where you're going with that, Jim. What do you say? I played half of the GameCube games?
He's saying that if you did the N64, you played half of the games that are on the PlayStation because they got ports.
Yeah, but the PlayStation library is gigantic.
Yes, I know. It's not
like 1,500 games or whatever.
I cannot convince him.
I like when people throw out, "Hey, can you do this?" Like it would be like, yeah, it's like even making a NES Punk video. It's going to take me like 50 hours to do. Thanks for your interest, though.
Hey, Pat and Ian, Zappa Video here.
Hey.
Hypothetical question for you both this time. So bad news, your doctor has given you a year to live. It's exactly a year. For whatever reason, you just dropped dead on 365 because it's, I don't know, MacGuffin's disease. So, but the good news is you're totally fine for that year. So what do you do with that 365? What's on your bucket list? Are you going to take on a masterpiece project? Do you travel the world? Do you spend time and money on friends? Do you go to all the restaurants and eat everything in sight? Do you finish certain video games, or are video games no longer a priority given the circumstances? What would you do when you're under a literal deadline?
Wow, that's dark. I don't know how much video games I play, besides whatever's on my app when I'm traveling the world. When I'm playing Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know how much video games I would play if I had a limited amount of time left.
I don't know that I would be doing much video game playing. I would absolutely sell off what I have, travel with Vani, and eat every meal that I want to eat. Since I'm gonna die anyway.
Every culture's food and just...
Yep. Yeah. I am going to eat all the food that I can.
All the foods and all the places. I guess I'd want to finish whatever projects I worked on, because I don't know if I want to... Like if I had a year to live, and when I finish the N64 book, I feel weird not doing that. I guess I can try to hand it off to someone to finish. I don't know. That's like a weird question, because some people work until they die. They don't. That's part of their life. It's like I want to work until they die, and I like doing these projects. That's something I obviously have to enjoy. Otherwise, I'm torture myself just to do it. So that's an interesting one, though. It's very interesting.
Hey, Pat and Ian, this is Dustin calling from Florida. Pat, I heard you've been flirting with my wife, Stephanie. She's been leaving a few voicemails, and you guys have been going at it back and forth. No, I'm just kidding. We're both big fans, though. My question to you is, what games made you guys buy certain consoles in your life? For instance, for me, playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I had to have the Sega Genesis. Playing GoldenEye at a buddy's house made me want to purchase a Nintendo 64. And seeing that sweet Grand Theft Auto Vice City commercial made me want to have a PlayStation 2. What were the games that influenced your console purchases in the past? You guys have a great day. Again, we're big fans. Keep it up. Bye.
All right.
I think I've mentioned this before, but there's two that I can think of. One, just seeing Sonic the Hedgehog, not playing it, seeing Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I saw it at a computer store out in.
It was a demo
in Buffalo. It was being demoed somewhere. It was. I remember exactly what zone it was. It was Spring Hill Zone. I saw it and I was like, I want to play that. But the more modern example, and this is 100% true, I bought my Xbox 360 specifically to play Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Trey, you brought that up
That was my main reason for buying it. I knew that there were games on the 360 that I would play or that I'd want to play, but I was actually just coming out of a period of time where I wasn't really playing a whole lot of anything. The first few years that I lived in San Diego and the last couple of years that I lived in Buffalo, I wasn't playing a whole lot of games. I was playing, but not a ton. So yeah, I bought that 360 because I worked at Luna.
Two locations
in San Diego. and the Pac-Man came out with the neon lights and the shinies, and I was like, I need to play that. So that's why I bought a 360. And the 360 actually kind of kickstarted my modern involvement with video games, getting back into modern games.
I guess the closest thing we could say there was one game. The only reason I bought the Sega Saturn used at was it Funkoland I bought it used at, or Electronic Boutique? No, it was Funkoland. Was to get 6-Man Scramble Fire Pro Wrestling. That was the only game I ever bought for that. I was like, this game is like the best wrestling game ever, and it was at the time. So I probably should have got some of the other imports that came out on that as well. But that's the only thing I got for that.
Hey guys, love the show and the different ways that you both approach topics. My question is, games are so accessible now in so many ways. You can play most things on an emulator or a Switch or whatever, but I find myself going back to pick up and play a specific physical cartridge or disc. Something about that physical game itself with the actual system I found at a yard sale or whatever grabs me more than just the game itself on whatever emulation medium. Do you have any games or systems that you feel like that with? Not just like any copy of the game will do. It's more about a specific disc or cart and a console that you cherish.
It kind of, yeah, to a degree. I like when I play Dragon Warrior 1, I like to always go back to the NES cartridge I have because it was the one I had growing up. And at least the last time I checked, and now it's probably been about 2 years since I checked again, still has my mom and I think my dad's save files on it from, when they played. So I'd like to use that cart specifically. In terms of like a general thought, I'm good with emulation on most things, but I really do like to play. I like to use the Game Boy cartridges. I like to play Game Boy games on an actual Game Boy. With using the actual cartridges. And of course, my PC Engine collection is mostly physical. That's another system I like to use the physical media on. I think it's fun switching between. It's such a weird system going from these weird cards to these CDs. At the time, it must have felt extraordinarily futuristic. And even now, it feels like. It feels like a great encapsulation of what 1980s futurism was.
Yeah, it was the first CD system, so I think that's
FM Towns Marty, I think, was the first CD
system.
Did
they come out first?
I think that beat it, but it's very close. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
All right, I'll look that up. But that's a good one with the turbo, because the turbo is like it was the only time they had the hue cards,
Yeah, Sega did it partially, but the only system that really ran with cards was PC Engine.
I look at the Sega cards as like, okay, stripped down carts.
Yeah, it was meant to be budget software as opposed to an actual like format for carrying games.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the same thing, but yeah. It's next year.
Hello, guys. My name is Fred, and I live in Miami. I don't have a question today for you guys. I just want to let you know that I am in a hospital. I'm fighting cancer, and listening to your podcast is helping me a lot. It's helping me a lot because the days at the hospital get very long, and I don't have a lot of to do. I mean, I'm watching YouTube and TV, so I'm waiting every Tuesday for your podcast, and you always help me. So just want to say thank you, guys. Keep the good job. Love you guys.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Fred.
You're welcome. I hope that things turn around for you, and I appreciate that you listening, and I'm glad that we can help you pass the time.
Keep the faith. Keep strong there, Fred.
Hey, Pat and Ian. Big fan here. My name's Sean. I'm from Sydney, Australia.
It's not Gacko. It's Sean.
My question for you guys is there any games that you'll have 100%ed or at least attempted to? For example, mine, I've 100%ed Banjo-Kazooie, Medieval Remastered, and Super Mario World. Curious what yours would be. Thank you.
Super Mario was like the first one you think of because they had a bonus for that, basically, or at least a designation that you did it. That's like super important, or at least one of them. Yeah, Super Mario World for sure. God, it's going to be hard for me to think of ones I actually actively went out and did.
I am absolutely not a 100%er at all when it comes to video games. In fact, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that I ever did, and this was a collaboration with my younger brother, was, and I think I mentioned this on here once before too, is we both combined our efforts and unlocked every ship in R-Type Final on
Okay.
the PS2.
That counts.
Which is like 100 ships.
100 ships.
It's like 100 ships, and at one point I think we had to resort to just leaving the system on and letting it sit, because I think one of the ships was unlocked by it like having been played a certain amount of time.
Were all 100 ships different? They played differently, or
They had their
Or look
differences.
different?
Yeah.
well, that's extreme there. What are you doing there? How about 50? 50 is more than enough.
Buonasera, Uncle Pat and Uncle Ian. How's it going, lads? J-Bo here from London again.
Oh, J-Bo.
So I enjoy listening to the podcast on my long drives, and Pat always makes me hungry talking about the mozzarella, the braciole, huh? That good Italian food. I'm not Italian myself, but you know, I enjoy it. And also the extra napkins, man. Gets me hungry before breakfast. So I was wondering, has Pat ever been to Italy? And what countries would you like to go and taste the cuisine at? I know you're both food lovers. Hit me up, boys. Take care. Peace.
J-Bo's driving around, I think, on the wrong side of the road. There. No, I wanted to travel last year. I really did. I wanted to go to Japan last year. I wanted to go to Italy, and I was thinking about Australia. I actually wanted to travel last year, and obviously things happened. So yeah, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to the UK, go to Scotland, maybe go to England. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Japan. I thought about going to Egypt. That'd be fun. Maybe other places here and there, but those are on the list right there. I think I'll get to Japan, Italy, and the UK first before anything else, and from there I'll decide. Maybe Australia, because I know a couple people there, and I hear it's awesome. Australians are awesome people, and that there's some fun stuff. Or New Zealand as well. It's right there. If you go to Australia, you gotta go to New Zealand. It's right there. So those are there. I don't know what food's in New Zealand though. What?
Food places that I'd love to go to. I'd love to go to Japan and eat, and that's something Bonnie and I are actively saving up for when Japan reopens and people can go visit again. We will absolutely be there. But other places that I want to go, I've always heard great things about Spain. Lots of food writers and travel writers. Anthony Bourdain regularly said Spain was pretty much his favorite place to eat. The food was fantastic. And another place that gets brought up a lot is Singapore, because it's kind of a melting pot of Asian cuisines and cultures. So there's a lot of food there.
Just can't watch porn there, but yeah.
And then as far as the U.S. goes, I would love if there was like a convention in or near Baltimore that we got invited to, because
Baltimore.
I follow a couple of food people that are constantly retweeting Baltimore, and the food just it looks kind of like a buffalo, wherein what are you really going there for? But the food just seems like it's fantastic in Baltimore.
Okay.
So I would really like to eat my way through Baltimore at some point.
Regional cuisine, or just that the quality is so good?
I mean, some of it's regional, like crab cakes and stuff like that. But there's lots and lots of good food there, it looks like.
Okay, thanks, J-Bo.
Hello, Pat, Ian. This is Patrick from Keychain Collectors International, and I would like to know what it would take for you to buy one of those really expensive special editions of a video game. Would it be a certain game, or a certain tchotchke you couldn't say no to? A lock of Miyamoto's hair? A Danny Sullivan bobblehead? What would it take?
I have a Danny Sullivan signature with my copy that I got at PRG a few years ago, so I'm good there. But I don't know. I look at some of this cool stuff. I'm like, that looks cool. Then I'm like, where am I going to keep it? That's the first thing I think about. Where am I going to keep this stuff? Where am I going to put the statue? Where am I going to put this or that? And if I didn't have a huge collection already, I probably would be more open to getting some of the stuff. But now it's just like I'm more in the mindset of clearing out stuff and then worrying about buying more, display items, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if there's really anything that could get me to buy one of those, big, crazy collections. The one that always pops to my mind these days is the Red Dead Redemption 2 crate that didn't even come with the game, but came with like chips and playing cards.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
A million and one fucking things. And none of that stuff really appeals to me. I like art books and stuff like that, but even those, like, I've bought RPGs with soundtracks and art books, and I don't ever I flip through them once and then maybe never again. I don't know. I think I'm just at this point, and and it's been a kind of rapid thing, just looking around and being like, I have so much stuff and there's so much stuff that I need to get rid of. It would be very, very difficult for me to be like, I need all this extra tchotchke. You know, a nice figurine or something, a nice art book, I could still be sold on that from time to time, but you're never going to get me to buy one of those fucking war chests like Red Dead Redemption 2 or the, you know, Fallout with the mask and the knapsack and all that shit. Yeah, I just...
Like a museum room just for like special edition games? Like where do you put all that stuff?
No need. And then you desperately try to give it away to someone, as I've talked about happening at Luna. You know, people move and they don't want it, and they can't even sell it to us for pennies on the dollar, and it goes in a free bin, or you literally throw it in the trash. It's something that those prey on the pre-release hype.
Yes,
that's exactly what they do. Yeah. You get all hyped up, and you can't wait for, you know, Cyberpunk, and well, you got to wait for Cyberpunk to come out. But what can you do? You can give them more money. You can buy this collector's edition that's got, you know, a Cyberpunk shirt and a Cyberpunk wristwatch and a Cyberpunk macaroni and cheese, and it's
mac and cheese.
It's those are there specifically to prey on the people who fall victim to hype the most.
I'll do a couple more here.
Hey, Pat and Ian, Jason from Texas again. It's not a question for you both. It seems that with water graded video games that they're catching up to more current retro gaming systems. Like it used to be Super Nintendo, NES, and older game systems. Now it's up to like the early 2000s, like the original Xbox and the PS1 and PS2 games are getting graded now as well. In your opinion, what are some of your titles you would collect, I guess, for the original Xbox?
What would you collect for the original Xbox?
I don't know. I mean,
if anything,
nothing really. Although the original Xbox did have some interesting Sega titles that came out at that time: Gun Valkyrie, Panzer Dragoon Orta, Jet Set Radio Future, Spike Out, Outrun 2. So there are good games on there, but I'm just not interested in collecting Xbox. If I were to, though, I'd probably collect the Sega stuff that came out around that time.
And I don't know what's collectible on the Xbox. I mean, I guess you're looking to get on the ground floor there, Jason. I don't know.
Hey guys, it's Andrew of Ukraine. So one of your late episodes, I guess Ian told that it's a shame that Nintendo ignores Virtual Boy and pretends that Virtual Boy never existed. So just a little fact, in their late game, Luigi's Mansion 3, that guy, Dr. Ged, or whatever, he gives you new device, it's Virtual Boy, and it's actually a nice joke about, like, I believe this Virtual Boy gonna be super popular. So yeah, Nintendo is kind of self-aware about this. Just little detail. Anyway, question, what do you think about franchise of Luigi's Mansion? Thank you guys, love you, bye.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay, so Nintendo acknowledged it.
Yeah,
finally, and again,
yeah. And someone sent me something like, I think Metopia or something acknowledged it too. As far as the Luigi's Mansion games go, I like them. I don't think they control the best. I have a tough time with the controls, but other than that, I think they're neat.
We got one more. We got to check in with a friend here.
One more. Let's do it.
Tommy is batting 1,000, baby. Just when you losers thought the Amico's dead in the water, it looks like we're starting to turn this franchise around. Did you see that new promo video with all those families playing Amico? The production, the editing. I said, who did this? James Cameron? And that Nintendo Life article. Those guys, they didn't pull any punches, man. Those questions, bro, they were playing hardball with old Tommy Boy. But that's fine. That's fine. They knew I could take it. And if that wasn't enough, GameIndustry.biz just named Intellivision one of the best places to work in 2021, right after GameStop and Walmart. I'm in such a good mood. I'm going to offer your listeners 25% off their Amico pre-orders.
What?
Just use promo code BOOM, that's BOOOOOM, to cash in on this sweet deal. And that'll be valid anytime between now and now.
Oh, no, you can't tease us, Tommy, on the boom. By the way, Thomas in the Intellivision did say boom twice when demonstrating cornhole. So either...
Never Thomas, Tom. Tom to the investors.
So Tom is accurate in saying boom. Tommy's accurate in Tom saying boom. He says boom.
Very good.
So that's...
of course he is. They're one and the same.
Or life. Yeah, of course. You know,
they're the same person.
Same person.
What are you doing peeling back the
that's what you usually do that, Ian. That's right.